What is going on, Hive Warriors? So if you're intermittent fasting and yet you're still not losing weight, this video will help you kind of put yourself in the correct direction so that you can start to see a positive result when doing intermittent fasting. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, this is a FLEDGEFITNESS original. Now, I know I've been doing videos where I react to other videos. I think those videos are super helpful because it kind of starts to balance all that information that we're seeing coming from other people where they can simply say whatever they want and it isn't study-based, it isn't information-based, it isn't science-based, and that's very dangerous. A lot of people just get up there and say, do this, do this, do this, but you're not actually being told what things are that are in line with the current data, with the current studies. Anyways, let's talk about doing intermittent fasting, but still not losing weight. What you should do. Number one, first thing you have to do is you have to be 100% honest with yourself. You have to know, are you doing intermittent fasting and eating correctly? Because sometimes people just do intermittent fasting and think that that's all they need, and sometimes it is. Sometimes it creates a barrier for some people because they tend to still eat at a negative energy balance, which means that you're eating less calories than what your body requires to store, and your body is actually burning fat because you're at a negative energy balance. So for some people, you do not need to measure calories yet, but you might if you keep going and you haven't reached your goal yet and you hit a plateau. You might at that point. But for those who are not counting calories or not paying attention to the calories that they're taking in, and they're basically doing intermittent fasting, they might not see a change if, in fact, they aren't at a net negative energy balance. So you're gonna need to make sure that you are at a net negative energy balance. And how do you do that? The best thing to do, the first thing you should do, is stop eating out and eat at home. Because one of the major things that happens when you eat out is that you simply do not know for sure how much calories you're actually consuming. The more you order out, the more you go outside to eat, the more in the dark you're going to be. And even if you see the calories on that menu, the foods are mass produced in those restaurants. Essentially, they're mixing all these different oils, all these different fats. You just simply do not know how many calories are actually coming in when you are eating out or ordering out. So eat at home. Make sure to eat at home. Even if you don't count calories, just the shift of eating at home versus eating out may actually put you at a better place calorically in terms of the calories that you're taking in, where you may actually start to lose weight without necessarily having to count calories. However, if you are eating at home and you're still not losing weight, you may have to count calories to ensure that you are below your caloric maintenance. Number two is being honest with yourself in the sense of when you're doing intermittent fasting and when you're not doing intermittent fasting. Many times I've spoken to a lot of people that have come up to me and asked me, well, I'm doing intermittent fasting, why is it not working for me? And one of the things that I will always tell them is, when is it that you're doing intermittent fasting and how many days a week do you do it? Usually they tell me that they're always doing intermittent fasting. So then I ask them, well, when did you do intermittent fasting last week? What did you do? Did you do intermittent fasting on Monday? And they'll say, no, well, not on Monday. I didn't do it because I was at my friend's house or whatever. Okay, what about Tuesday? Tuesday, I had to skip it because there was an event that I had to go to for work and I couldn't do it on that one. Okay, what about Wednesday? Wednesday, I think I did it. I'm not sure if that's the day that there was this like planned hangout with them. Maybe I didn't. What ends up happening is that in theory, they have their mindset that they are doing intermittent fasting. In theory, they're like, today I start intermittent fasting. They'll do intermittent fasting that day and the next day, but little things make them not do intermittent fasting consistently, right? So they'll not do it on Wednesday, but then Thursday and Friday, but they'll get back on it on Saturday. And then Sunday, they got a thing to do. They won't do it there. Then Monday, they won't. Tuesday, they will. Wednesday, they will. And you end up actually not creating a caloric deficit, because although you may have created an intraday caloric deficit on Tuesday and Wednesday, you overall for the week, you don't have a caloric deficit, because then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday you didn't do intermittent fasting and you overate those days, and the overeating that you did those days overcame the amount of overcame the deficit that you created in those individual days. So you have to make sure that you are actually consistent with it. And I know it's going to be a little bit annoying, but when you're trying to get a rhythm, you got to be super consistent. If you're not going to see any progress. You're going to be taking one step forward and two steps back, one step forward and two steps back. And if you keep doing that, all you're doing is going in the opposite direction of where you actually want to go. So I highly recommend to be super honest with yourself and make sure that you're consistently doing intermittent fasting and you keep those exception days to a very minimal amount or minimal number, especially if you have a goal that you want to reach. Because if you don't do that, you're gonna take forever to reach your goal. You might not reach your goal, and then when you look back, you're gonna say, well, why didn't intermittent fasting work? Intermittent fasting didn't work because you barely did intermittent fasting. And number 3, I'm gonna end with number 3. There's so many different reasons. I could do more videos like this. I've done a video like this before, but I'll end it on number 3, and you guys let me know if you want me to do another video like this. But neglecting resistance training. Something that I see a lot in people that do intermittent fasting is that they'll be in one of these different pools in terms of exercise. Either one, they do not want to exercise whatsoever at all. They just want to lose weight without exercise, period, which is very possible to do, but it's much more difficult, way more difficult. 2, they'll only do cardio because of their lack of experience or because they don't feel comfortable doing resistance training because they've never done it before. They don't want to go to the gym and feel embarrassed or what have you. And then 3, those who do resistance training. Now, 3 is very few and far between when I'm talking to people about intermittent fasting. Usually what I get is number 1 and number 2. For inexperienced people, it's just much more comfortable to get on a treadmill. They get the concept of getting on a treadmill. They get the concept of getting on a stationary bike. They get the concept of walking up a Stairmaster. They get that, but they just don't get the concept of, am I doing this bench press right? Am I doing these curls right? Can I even do this pull down? Am I doing this correctly? Because of the fear of being shamed or embarrassed in the gym, many people don't actually use the super powerful tool of building muscle. Now, let me explain something to you. When you have not gone to the gym, when you do not go to the gym, building muscle is very easy. It's actually the reverse of what you think. If you see somebody that's super muscular, for that guy, building muscle is very, very, very hard because you build the majority of your muscle when you first start working out. And then the rate of growth in muscle reduces year over year, always. So the more muscle you have, the harder it is. When you haven't gone to the gym, you actually have an advantage in muscle building. So I highly recommend that you guys go and do some sort of resistance training so that you can build muscle. Now, my recommendation when it comes to resistance training is doing compound movement exercises that trigger multiple muscle groups at the same time, as our bodies are very proportionate, and that will help hypertrophy go faster, or basically build muscle faster. So deadlift is a perfect example. Just learn the technique of deadlift. Go on Google, see what you need to do, or YouTube. Bench pressing is good. Pull downs are good. Dips are good. Things that target multiple muscle groups. Squats are also good. If you do just those workouts right there, they're going to help you a lot in terms of building a lot of muscle. And then that is going to in turn help you with your metabolism, since muscle is the primary driver, not muscle, but lean mass is the primary driver for your metabolic rate. This is going to be a great assistance for you, because when you lose weight, when you are losing weight with intermittent fasting, your metabolism will start to go down. Not just with intermittent fasting, with all diets, the process of losing weight will automatically initiate the metabolic slowdown. That's just what happens when you lose weight. So you want to make sure that you're counteracting that as much as possible. It makes eating less overall calories possible, because even though you're eating 2,500 or 3,000 calories, because you have muscles on you, because you're building muscles, your body has to partition a lot of that energy to your muscle tissue. So if you are actually doing both cardio and resistance training, but also resistance training, you're basically putting money into a bank and ensuring that in the next 3 months, you're gonna have a much more beneficial calorie partitioning internal system with your body, because you built muscle over that time period. So those are 3 reasons why, if you're doing intermittent fasting and it isn't working for you, if you are falling into those traps, if you correct them, you may start finally seeing progress. Hopefully this video has helped you guys. And of course, as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.